What is up, Baggies fans, football fans and sports fans in general? Welcome to another video on the channel, and in today's video, guessing by the title, I'm going to be telling you my favourite all-time West Bromwich Albion team that I've seen live. Now that is the key crucial bit, and obviously there's going to be some players here that it would have been my all-time team, then there would be different players, but this has to be players that I've seen personally. Now I want you guys to leave in the comments your favourite all-time West Brom team or football team. If you don't support the Albion, let me know your favourite teams, but they have to be players you've seen live. Let's see the teams and let's see what you create. Starting off for me in goal is Ben Foster. What a keeper. Between the sticks, he was unbelievable. Signed initially on loan from Birmingham City in 2011 before making the move permanent in 2012. He went on to make over 220 appearances for the Baggies in our real, probably best stint in the Premier League. Calm, commanding and an incredible shot stopper. He was a cornerstone of that side that remained in the Premier League for much of the 2010s. His reflexes were top class, pulling off stunning saves against the league's very best. Think back to his performances against Man United, Chelsea and Arsenal. But it wasn't just the saves, it was his leadership, his consistency and his down-to-earth personality that made him a fan favourite. Even off the pitch, Foster became a cult hero with his YouTube cycling videos and honesty in interviews. He left the club in 2018 following relegation, but his contribution to WA's top flight stability cannot be overstated. He was a one-man army in goal. Now at left back, probably more so. I saw him a couple of times, but it's going to be Neil Clement for me. The reason I've put him in at left back is I bumped into him in the car park when my nan worked at the West Bromwich Albion store at the ground, and he was so nice, so kind, signed my shirt, had a chat with me, and really made my day. So for me, yeah, one of the longest serving players in modern West Brom history. Neil Clement joined in 2000, stayed for a full decade. In that time he racked up nearly 300 appearances. What made Clement special? Well, that left foot of his, wow, was it a cannon. He was often on free kicks and penalties, and it was a rare trait for a left back. I remember in a pre-season friendly game against Watford, we were sat beyond the goal and he put one straight into the top corner, and you could just tell, absolutely wand of a left foot. Clement was part of the squad that won promotion to the Premier League multiple times in the early 2000s. And though he didn't always grab headlines, he was a model of professionalism. Injuries, unfortunately, curtailed his career and forcing him to retire in 2010. But he stayed on in various coaching roles, and fans remember him not just as a solid defender, but as someone who gave all for his shirt. And I fully back that sentence. He gave everything, and that is why he's going in at left back for me. Now, coming in at my centre back position, number one, standing in at 6 feet 4 inches tall, was Jonas Olsson. What an absolute warrior at the back he was. The big Swede joined West Brom in 2008 and quickly established himself as a fan's favourite. Over 244 games, he brought old school defending back into fashion, strong in the air, aggressive in the tackle, never one to back down from a challenge. He had that Viking spirit. Opponents hated playing against him, but fans adored him. He was part of the side that consolidated WA's place in the Premier League and helped the club finish as high as 8th in the 2012-2013 season. What set him apart was not just his physicality, but his leadership and understanding with his fellow defender, Macaulay, who, moving on to, is my other centre-back. Signed from Ipswich at the age of 31, Gareth Macaulay is the definition of a late bloomer. He joined in 2011 and went on to make over 200 appearances, scoring 15 goals, and many of them were headers from set pieces. These two at the back were unbelievable. Him and Olsson form one of the most dependable defensive duos in WA's Premier League era. Tall, commanding, and positionally superb. Macaulay rarely put a foot wrong. His ability to read the game made up for his lack of pace. One of the best seasons came in the 2016-2017 season, where he scored 6 goals as centre-back, helping Albion finish 10th. A quiet leader who did his job week in and week out. Now, those two at the back for me, they were unbelievable. Fantastic defensive duo. Rarely put a foot wrong, and they both were in for the job and really fought for that position. One of my favourite memories of Jonas Olsson is the free kick against Man United that Chris Brunt smacks off of him. He turns to look to Chris Brunt as if to say, "What have you done that for?" And as it flies into the top corner, that there, I think that's probably why the team did so well. The spirit there, he looked as if to say to Brunt, "What's going on?" and it flew in, and then they went off celebrating. And that is brilliant. Coming in at right back. Somebody that probably went under the radar for a lot of people, but I absolutely loved him, Stephen Reid. He may not have had the flashiest career, but he was a model of reliability. Arriving in 2010, he played over 80 times for the club, mainly as right back, but also covering in midfield when needed. His versatility and professionalism were vital in maintaining that Premier League status. Reid wasn't afraid to put in a hard tackle and had a wicked shot on him too. Remember the screamer against Wigan? Injuries did unfortunately plague him at times, but when he was fit, he always gave 100%. Post-retirement, he went on to coaching and to become well respected in that world too, a true professional. Now, this is going to be my captain, left midfield, Chris Brunt, captain, creator, club legend. Chris Brunt signed for the Albion in 2007 and stayed until 2020, making over 400 appearances and scoring nearly 50 goals. His left foot is the stuff of legends. Look at my left side. I've got a left-footed wand of Chris Brunt and a left foot of Neil Clement. Wow, that left side is brutal. Whether it was in curling and a cross, a free kick or a rocket from 30 yards, Brunt delivered time and time again. Not only did he fill in midfield, when he was pushed back to left back, he did a job as well. He led the team during some of its most successful periods in recent history, multiple promotions, extended stays in the Premier League, and even a top half finish. His partnership with the fans was special. He always played with passion, and his loyalty made him a rare breed in modern football. Easily one of the greatest servants at our club. And again, I think professionalism-wise, he was fantastic. Did a lot in the community. And, he still does a lot today. And I went to the James Morris and Chris Brunt testimonial match. It was such a great day out. And, two real good club legends. Chris Brunt, for me, gets in at left mid position. Now, coming in at centre mid, I've gone defensive with both my centre mids just because the two of them together. Starting off on one side as Youssouf Mulumbu. What an absolute player. An engine in the middle of the park. Mulumbu joined from PSG in 2009 and became an instant fan favourite. Tough tackling, tireless running and the occasional goal. He offered everything you want in a box-to-box midfielder. His standout year was arguably the 2010-2011 series when he won Player of the Season. He scored crucial goals, including a memorable one against Villa, and was always up for the fight. He played over 190 times for the Baggies before moving on, but his impact, especially during those early Premier League years, was huge. And again, professional, ran his heart out, never moaned, always did the job, and he just put himself about, and that is why he's going in at the centre mid position. Partnering him in centre mid can only be one person to partner him, and they played together. Claudio, Yacob. Every warrior needs a shield, and for Mulumbu, this was Claudio Yacob. The Argentine joined in 2012 and quickly became known as a master of interceptions and reader of the game. Rarely flashy, but incredible effective. Yacob made over 160 appearances, protected the back four with precision. He wasn't one to score goals or pick out 50-yard passes, but what he did was allow the others around him to play and be creative. He was disciplined, sort of, composed and incredibly consistent. The kind of player who doesn't grab headlines but is absolutely vital to a team structure. An unsung hero of the Clark and Pulis years, in my opinion. And again, those two in midfield together were absolutely fantastic, and that's why them two are going in at my centre mid positions. I could have picked so many more there. Obviously, Morrison, I spoke about earlier, could have gone in there. Dorrans, we had such a fantastic midfield. It was unbelievable. But those two for me really stand out, and really why I loved watching them too. Now in right mid, I don't remember his time very much in the early season time, but when he come back the second time, wow, and that is Zoltán Gera. He brought the magic. The Hungarian international had two spells at the club, as I said. First from 2004 to 2008, which I remember a little bit but not too much of. Then returning in 2011, he made 160 appearances, scoring 26 goals. Known for his flair, volleys and the eye for the spectacular, and also that backflip. Gera was a joy to watch. One of his most famous goals coming that 3-0 win against Liverpool on the opening day of the 2012-13 season. Sensational strike that summed up his technical brilliance. He could play centrally or out wide and always offered a touch of class. Gera gave fans moments to remember, and that's what football is all about. The volleys, he even got up for headers, and that backflip celebration, wow. What a player, and again, one adored by the fans and loved. Now, moving into my striking position. So I'm playing a 4-4-2 here with my two strikers. The first striker, we only had him for a season, but every year I keep seeing if he'll ever come back, and I know it will never happen, but it's Romelu Lukaku. In terms of raw talent, few players have made a bigger impact in a short time than Romelu Lukaku. On loan from Chelsea in 2012 to 2013, he scored 17 goals in 35 appearances, helping West Brom finish 8th, their best ever finish. He had everything: strength, pace, power and a killer instinct in front of goal. His hat-trick against Man United in Sir Alex Ferguson's final game is legendary. At just 19 years old, he looked like a world beater and has since gone to play for Everton, Man United, Inter Milan and Chelsea. But us fans at West Brom remember him for that electric season with immense pride. I remember the goal against Sunderland when he chased down a ball. Like, it was a lost cause and he chased it down and it cannoned off him and flew into the back of the net. That there was the Romelu Lukaku, hungry to win the ball, chasing after everything. The two goals against Liverpool,
He was absolutely brutal up front for us, and I really, really wish he'd have come back. And I know from what I heard that he was close to coming back, and unfortunately we didn't want to pay the fee to have him back. But what could have been if we'd got him back that season? Partner in Lukaku. Some obviously for what happened towards the end of his career don't like him, but for me, you know, those first couple of seasons we had him. Wow. Peter Odemwingie. He brought pace, trickier in goals. Signed in 2010, scored 30 goals in 87 appearances, including hat-tricks and big game performances. He scored on his debut and went on to become WA top scorer for 3 straight seasons. Who can remember the hat-trick against Wolves? He was unbelievable. His pace on the counter-attack made him a constant threat. Unfortunately, his time at WBA ended in controversy, the infamous QPR deadline day car incident. But that shouldn't overshadow how brilliant he was on the pitch. When he was at his best, Odemwingie could beat defenders for fun, score from pretty much anywhere. And I think that's the thing. Ignore what happened with the QPR incident. Let's look at what he did for the club and what he did for us and how good he was. Again, there were so many strikers I could have named. You know, Shane Long was fantastic for us. He could have gone in there. Simon Cox, Kevin Phillips, you know, some great players that I could have put in. But those two for me really stand out for me. And then finishing off, we've got the manager. Now, a lot of people probably won't agree with this one because obviously we had Steve Clarke, Roy Hodgson, but for me, Slaven Bilic. He was there for a short time, but wow, he brought the club back together when it needed it most. From the 2019 to 20 season, his impact was immediate. He took over the club in need of identity and belief, and within a year, he guided WA back to the Premier League, finishing second in the season, cut short by COVID. Under Bilic, the team played attacking football with young stars like Mateus Pereira lighting up the Championship. He was well liked by players and fans alike for his honesty and charisma. His sacking in December would surprise many. His promotion season remains one of the most exciting in recent years. And for me, you know, it's probably the first season where I started to go, you know, away games with my dad. And I think, you know, everything, he just brought everybody together and was fantastic management, passionate, always on the touchline. Another reason why I like Carlos Corberan, very similar, passionate on the touchline, fighting for every header, fighting for every ball, and that is why he is my manager of this team. So this team for me isn't just about talent, it's about heart, loyalty and memories. These are the players who wore the shirt with pride, made us dream and gave us moments we'll never forget. And that's what football is all about, and that's why these are my all-time West Bromwich Albion 11. Now don't forget to let me know yours in the comment section down below. Subscribe for everything else I'm creating on this channel. Leave a comment and also leave a like, and I'll catch you all in the next episode. Bye-bye, Baggies fans.